Hey everyone, and welcome to Boston Autoblog. The day has finally arrived. I am taking a look at the 2021 BMW M440i, and this has been a long time in the making. I think the last time I was here at BMW Sudbury, which was probably in September or August, they told me this car was going to arrive by the end of October, and well, here we are. Now, when it comes to automotive design, I think controversy is not necessarily a bad thing. It draws a lot of attention, and as we've seen with the Mark V Toyota Supra, it seems as though it's made the car more popular in the long run. So with the 2021 BMW 4 Series, the front end has been the subject of controversy, as a lot of BMW purists and loyalists haven't been too sure about how this car looks from the front end. And I'm going to say, after spending the last 2 hours with this car and have already been on a 30-minute test drive, this car isn't about the looks, it's about the driving dynamics. I've been doing these reviews long enough to know that looks are subjective, and that what really matters at the end of the day is performance, driving dynamics, and handling, as well, automotive design tends to get accepted over time, and I just don't listen to people who criticize automotive design when the vehicle has just been unveiled. I just don't take that seriously. But I have been a critic of the BMW F Series, particularly F30 and F32, because I felt as though those cars didn't really give me great feedback. It wasn't the ultimate driving machine. I think a lot of people would agree with that. You look at a lot of BMW purists and loyalists, and they say that the cars right around 2014 to 2018 really went away from the ultimate driving machine, what BMW is all about. However, over the last year and a half, doing these reviews and checking out the BMW lineup, these cars are very fun to drive, and it's all about you as a driver and keeping you engaged at all times. And I have to say, this car is most certainly better than last generation. So in this video, we're going to take a good long look at the 2021 BMW M440i and see why, if you're on the fence about upgrading to a G22, or you're simply a critic who isn't too sure about how the car looks and you're really wondering what the driving dynamics are like, then maybe, just maybe, I'm going to be able to persuade you to go to your local BMW dealer and test drive the new 4 Series. Now, before I get into this review, I'd like to thank Herb Chambers BMW Sudbury in Sudbury, Massachusetts for allowing me to do this review. Their link will be in the description below, so you can check out their extensive BMW inventory. And so, without wasting any further time, let's get right in this review. Anticipation, excitement, and bewilderment are probably just a few feelings consumers have had since the G22 4 Series was unveiled. But you can never say that this sports coupe isn't captivating. As of late, BMW has pushed the envelope in many ways, as the lineup continues to evolve and balance performance, practicality, and luxury with the variety of vehicles they offer. For 2021, the 4 Series brings a sense of renewal and individuality for the nameplate's second generation, as the F32 was far too similar to the 3 Series, which caused a bit of confusion when the Gran Coupe was introduced. Now it's become apparent that BMW wants the G22 to be a standalone car, despite sharing a platform with the G20, and looks are just the beginning to achieve this mission. With competitors such as the Audi S5 and Mercedes-Benz C43 AMG, BMW needed to stand out, not only when it comes to performance, but also the design. Starting off with pricing, the 2021 BMW M440i comes in at $58,500. With the model in this review being around $70,000, thanks to the addition of optional packages, which we'll discuss later in this video. While everyone is primarily focused on the design language of the G22 4 Series, particularly for the front fascia, very few have discussed the dimensional changes BMW made to give this sports coupe an 8 Series-like road presence. Compared to last generation, the 4 Series grows in length by 5 inches, widened by an inch, and more importantly has been lowered by 2.2 inches, which will drastically improve the handling and aerodynamics of this car. It should also be noted that besides the obvious distinctness in appearance, BMW is making it clear that despite being built on the same platform, the 4 Series for 2021 is certainly not just a two-door version of the 3 Series. Alright, so let's get into the portion of the review that you guys have been waiting for, and also probably some of you want to hear my opinion on this grille, and I'll get into that in a few minutes. But first, let's appreciate the fact that all of this is functional, that the air curtains open up at higher speeds to keep the engine nice and cool, and of course on the side air intakes, those are also functional as well. So this car is going to have a good amount of cooling. It's also very aerodynamic, but of course in this modern era of automotive design, usually the grills are just for decoration, whereas for BMW it at least serves a purpose. And then lastly, you're probably wondering, do the front grills look as big in person as they do in pictures and videos? And I'm going to say, if you spend about 10 to 15 minutes looking at the front end of this car, they somehow begin to get smaller and the whole design of this car begins to make more sense. Now, are these kidney grills? I wouldn't say so. They're more like lungs. They're going to suck in the air. The 2021 4 Series is more aerodynamic. It's a sportier car. It's going to be more aggressive and more fun to drive. And really, I think having enhanced and large grills is what's going to give this car a lot more character. And that's what lacked with the F32, as its styling was dependent upon its 4-door sibling. This time, a unique and standalone appearance gives the 4 Series aggressive and bold characteristics that just didn't translate well last generation, even with the M Sport bumper. With our model not being equipped with the Shadowline package, which would have added gloss black bits throughout the exterior of the 4 Series, satin bronze accents will be integrated into the kidney grills and side air vents, adding a contrast to the tanzanite blue paint. For 2021, the front fascia is also more angular with sharp body lines that to some degree gives this 4 Series a much more performance-oriented appeal, and without question will draw attention as you begin to appear in the rearview mirror of the driver in front of you. This M440i also has the upgraded Icon adaptive LED headlights with laser light to provide the best illumination BMW can offer in the US, which is optimal for when you're driving spiritedly on dimly lit back roads. And lastly, returning to the kidney grills, the sensors for the front safety systems blend in seamlessly, requiring you to look closely to notice where they are. Moving over to the side profile, the M440i is sitting on the optional 19-inch M double-spoke gray wheels, wrapped in high-performance non-run flat tires. It's from this angle where the 4 Series shares a very similar silhouette to the 8 Series Coupe, but it also appears that the hood has been extended very slightly, which differs from the 3 Series. You'll get satin bronze power folding side mirrors with turn signal indicators to go along blind spot detection for added safety. Then coming around to the back, just like the rest of the G22 4 Series, there's very little resemblance to the 3 Series, whether it's the redesign for the taillights, rear bumper, or even the placement for the backup camera, which is now perfectly a part of the BMW badge. When glancing at the C-pillar architecture and how it flows into the rear fascia, you feel as though you're staring at a baby 8 Series, and that's due in part to the lack of body lines and smooth aesthetics that actually make the M440i look more upscale. Adding a bit more character and sportiness is a subtle gloss black deck lid spoiler and rear diffuser to go along with dual exhaust outlets to complete the overall look of the G22 M440i. Under the hood, the M440i is powered by a 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder engine, putting out 382 horsepower and 364 pound-feet of torque, and is paired with the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. BMW claims that for a 0 to 60 time, you can expect somewhere around 4.3 seconds, which is quicker than both the Mercedes-Benz C43 AMG and Audi S5. For the drivetrain, the M440i will come equipped with BMW's xDrive all-wheel drive system, making this sports coupe drivable year-round. And for fuel economy, you can expect to receive right around 23 miles per gallon in the city and 33 miles per gallon on the highway, falling right in line with its closest competitors. Stepping inside, you're greeted by power-adjustable heated Vernasca leather seats for both the driver and passenger, with the driver's side being 2-position memory for added convenience. Giving our model a classy feel is the optional oyster interior color, adding a nice two-tone contrast while also matching well with the tanzanite blue exterior paint. One big difference from the F32 generation is the optional 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster that transforms the cockpit of the 4 Series into a modern and sportier environment when behind the wheel. However, analog gauges do come standard and will only be replaced if you offer the premium and/or executive packages. Quickly taking a look at the infotainment system and center console, you'll have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility to go along with onboard navigation. Our model is also equipped with interior ambient lighting and the upgraded 16-speaker Harman Kardon premium audio system, which will amplify the music you listen to. Also optioned on this M440i is the parking assistance package, giving us a surround and 3D view to make it virtually impossible to get yourself into trouble when parking this car. Of course, you will have a rear backup camera with trajectory to go along with front and rear parking sensors. As with all new BMWs, the user interface is the latest iDrive 7 system, which is probably the most efficient to use in this segment. You'll have a rotary dial and touchpad to go along with quick access buttons to get you to your desired menus easily and quickly. As always, you'll have a drive mode selector, but for myself, this coupe stayed in sports mode the entire time. Below the infotainment system, you'll find the buttons for the dual zone climate control and 3-level heated seats. This dashboard layout, for the most part, is seen throughout the current BMW lineup, but compared to last generation, is far more modernized and up to date. Optional will be a wireless phone charging pad, and also here will be a USB input. For the center storage compartment, you'll find plenty of room for small items, including a wallet or smartphone. And rounding out the front seating area, a moonroof will let in a lot of natural light to brighten up the cabin. Now, I don't know if you guys can actually see me back here, but I am sitting in the second row because, of course, we do check out legroom on this channel. Now, you guys can't see me, and you can't see my lower portion, but I do have a few inches of room with this seat adjusted probably to somewhere around the size of maybe 5'10", and I'm still comfortable back here. But most likely, you're never going to have someone in the second row throughout the lifetime of your ownership with this car, and if you do, it's going to be with friends on a very quick drive to show them just how fun this car really is to drive. But I'm going to move the seat back up so you guys can see me better. And of course, you're only going to be able to fit 2 people back here. The center hump is very aggressive, and I mean, we're talking about a 2-door coupe here. This is not a family car at all. But you do get 2 rear air vents to go along with climate control back here, 2 USB inputs, and rounding out the rear seating area, you do get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. And then coming around to the back, you will get a power trunk or liftgate, whatever you feel more comfortable using. And inside you're going to find right around 7.8 cubic feet of rear cargo. Now that does not sound like a lot, but you can fit a set of golf clubs for sure back here. Also, I think you could fit luggage for you and a significant other if you're going on a long weekend vacation. Then with the rear seats folded down, that space right around doubles in size to just below 16 cubic feet. So for what it is, this vehicle is somewhat practical. It's nowhere close to a sedan or a crossover, but it's definitely enough for sure. Then on either side of the rear cargo area, you are going to find some netting for some smaller items such as detailing equipment or water bottles. And if you are concerned about them getting thrown around in the back of your car while you're on a spirited drive, you can leave them right there and they'll be just fine. Also back here, you will have quick release tabs for those rear seats to fold. Now, of course, they don't fold automatically. You will have to go back there and fold them yourself. And then once you're done, just press the button and you'll be on your way. All right, so for the moment we've all been waiting for, I've been sitting at home waiting weeks for this moment, and I have to say this is probably maybe the most controversial car of 2020, and it's just because of its looks. But I have to say, I think if you see this car in person, you're gonna be impressed. Now, I think going over even exterior and interior design is a mere formality at this point, because we all know why we're here. We're here to test out and see how the M440i drives and handles. And compared to last generation, and I've talked about this numerous times on the channel with BMWs, is that starting around 2018, 2019, these cars really went back to their roots and became ultimate driving machines and great drivers' cars overall. Steering is so tight, and just the atmosphere that you find yourself in this vehicle, it's a true driver's car. Everyone seems to be surprised at how the M440i drives and handles, and for me it's not really much of a surprise because I've driven the M340i, and that really truly impressed me on many fronts, because I remember driving the F30 and F32 generation, and I just felt that the car overall was numb and really didn't give me that true BMW experience. Now it's a completely different ball game. The G20 and G22 are really enthusiast cars overall. What BMW has done for the 4 Series is that they've lengthened it, they've widened it, they've lowered it, and you can totally feel it. This car is so much more aerodynamic than last generation. And you know, the thing is that everyone wants to talk about how it looks so radically different from the M340i. It looks different than 3 Series. And I would actually say it's a good thing. Last generation, the 4 Series was basically a 2-door version of the 3 Series. This time, not so much. In fact, I'd call it a baby 8 Series, especially when you look at its design. Now, of course, with the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, gear shifts are instant, and I have to say the downshifts are addicting to listen to. I don't need music to be played. The exhaust note is my music. But the way this car just feels, it's planted to the road, the cornering, this is nothing like I've ever experienced in modern BMWs. I love the M340i. I love what BMW has done over the last few years, but this is a whole different level. And if you want to sit there and say, well, the exterior doesn't look as good as last generation and you have to get used to the grille design, I say get over it rather quickly, because once you step inside, this is the most enjoyable time behind the wheel you're going to have if you're coming from maybe an F30, F32. This car is just completely different. So I know a lot of you have been waiting for me to get into what my personal feeling is with the new redesign. And I don't know if you're necessarily going to like my answer on this, but I think the BMW 4 Series, M3 and M4 for the 2021 model year, is this year's Mark V Toyota Supra. And let that sink in for a bit, because the Mark V Supra got a lot of the purists up in arms. Some people didn't like the exterior. And then a year later, everyone wants one. Everyone wants to buy the new Supra. I think for the 4 Series, it's going to be the exact same thing. And when you look at how BMW has dominated the headlines and has drawn so much attention, I am by far certain that there are YouTubers out there right now waiting for the M3 and M4. And what we know right now in the automotive industry, that popularity of cars really comes down to whether YouTubers buy them. And I could totally see a YouTuber buying even an M440i just to get initial views on this car, and this car would become an overnight success. It would be popular. I totally see that. I really do. This is a car that at first is going to take a while to get used to. It's going to take a few months to accept. But when you step behind the wheel, when you drive this car, you understand what this is all about. This isn't an Audi S5. This isn't a Mercedes-Benz C43 AMG. This is something better. This car is overall better. It drives and handles better. Mercedes-Benz leans more towards the luxury side of things. Audi is more of your technology aspect. But BMW, it's a driver's car. So I am going to have one of those opportunities to get a quick acceleration here. I think it's going to be fun. Gosh, 0 to 16 around 4.3 seconds, and you feel it. Wow. I've actually requested one more lap around the city, around the town, I should say, and it's not because I need a few more minutes to talk about this car, but more along the lines of I need to experience it more. This is absolutely addicting. This car is just a driver's car. In 2020, everyone wants to say about how, well, it doesn't have a 6-speed manual transmission. It doesn't really matter. Steering input is just incredible. It's tight, it's direct. Cornering, you feel as though you're hugging the road, and this car could most certainly be lowered. I know people in the aftermarket would lower it. This car is just out of the box, perfect. Now, if you want to get a convertible version of the G22, you will have to wait until next year. It will initially be in rear-wheel drive, and you can go all-wheel drive by the summer. And then around a year from now, you can go with the Gran Coupe. And this leads me right into why the 4 Series has been redesigned for 2021. Why is it so radically different from the 3 Series? I think now, though, with the 4 Series, they're going to make it its own standalone vehicle, despite the fact that it's built on the same platform as the 3 Series. And there's a few reasons why. The Gran Coupe needs to be a standalone car. It can't be confused with a 3 Series. Also, the number 4 is significant for BMW moving forward because it's going to usher in the i4, which is the full electric sedan for BMW. So in my eyes, this is why BMW has completely changed up this car and made it definitely distinguished from the 3 Series, because this car is actually very important. One last hard acceleration here. Oh my gosh. I'm in love with this car. I am completely in love with this car. You get thrown back in your seat. The gear shifts are instant. The downshifts sound amazing. The steering is tight. Cornering, you feel as though you're planted to the road. I don't know what else you could possibly ask for other than an M3 or M4. And my argument lately with BMW products is that if you are on a budget and you can't go all out for an M3 or M4, going M340i or M440i is nothing to be down about. I think you're getting an unbelievable car for the price. And I think it's better than when you look at a C43 or an S5. And even when it comes to looks, and people right now on the internet are not sure, what else are you gonna buy? Honestly, what other car on the market right now, around $50,000 to $70,000, is going to give you this much fun behind the wheel, that's going to come out of the box, really in my eyes, perfect when it comes to driving dynamics, and is also a brand new, because I know a lot of you are going to start going in the comments about what cars you can buy at $50,000 to $70,000 used, but brand new, this is just one of the best driving cars I think I've ever been behind the wheel of in my 3 or 4 years of doing car reviews and running this channel. So at the end of the day, my final impression really is to take this car out for a test drive and experience it for yourself, because I think you're going to be in love with it like I am. 5 to 10 minutes in, you're captivated immediately. You're drawn into what the 4 Series is going to offer. In corners, it hugs the road. You feel planted. In accelerations, you get thrown back in your seat. In the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, the gear shifts are instant. And of course, those downshifts, they sound amazing, especially the way BMW has tuned the exhaust. The lack of crackles and pops, it actually makes this car sound a lot better. It's better than the M340i. But it really comes down to the driving experience and driving dynamics. This is a true driver's car, and you're going to feel that the minute you step inside. Of course, those front grills will take a few minutes to get used to, maybe longer. But to me, BMW has certainly brought us and given us a car that's all about the driving dynamics and the ultimate driving machine. Of course, when it comes to the interior, very similar to other BMW products, so I've just glossed over that for this review. But I just think that when it comes to you being behind the wheel and you having a lot of fun on a daily basis, that's exactly what the M440i is going to offer. And if you're on a budget and you really can't, get into the M3, M4 range, don't feel bad that you're going to be stuck with the M440i, because this right here is most certainly a car that I have fallen in love with. I think you will too. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys next time.